Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're out at the range to talk about shooting in 2021. We're post-election 2020. When we're recording this video, it looks like Joe Biden has won the presidency, and based upon the actions of the gun community after Obama won, we can probably expect to continue to see panic buying well into 2021. I hope that's not the case. I hope that we don't see a bunch of gun control proposed and things like that, but we really don't know what to expect. And with that uncertainty comes panic buying. And so right now, taking a look at ammunition that's available, even 5.56, 308, 9mm, 45 ACP calibers that are very common have become either stupid expensive or almost impossible to get. Calibers like 300 Blackout. Good luck finding some of that stuff anywhere. And so I want to talk about some alternatives, and this is a perfect opportunity to talk about military surplus rifles and the fact that many of these firearms that are currently available in places like Gunbroker or places like Classic Firearms, you can pick them up and shoot them and still find ammunition. And we're going to talk about the different flavors of military surplus ammo we have out here this afternoon, but we're going to start the video off with a Hungarian 48M. It's basically a post-World War II rifle made in Hungary that is a copy of the Russian M44 rifle. It chambers a 7.62 by 54R, and it being 7.62 by 54R is still pretty commonly available, and the prices haven't gotten stupid for the 54R. So yes, they've gone up some, but you can still find the ammunition, at least at the time of this recording, fairly easily, and the ammunition isn't stupidly priced. Therefore, picking up rifles like this off Gunbroker, an M44 or a 9130 Mosin Nagant, these rifles can still be had for affordable prices, especially the 9130s. You can still get them for $300 or so if you get a deal. They used to be $99, but those days are long gone. So 54R is a lot of fun to shoot. I really get a kick out of the model 44, the M44, and I love my M40 or my 48M, the Budapest-made rifle. These things are beautiful. This is actually a really nice example of one, and it has the folding spike bayonet. I'm not going to stick my hand out in front of the muzzle right now because I did chamber around, but just the classic Mosin Nagant style rifle from World War II, but again, this one was made post-war. All right, so let's do a little bit of shooting with this bad boy. Many people consider this to be a thumper, and it has kind of a crude bolt action. It's not the smoothest of bolt actions, but it's very manageable. This one has a really light trigger. I did not expect that round to go off. It wasn't on target yet. And the triggers and stuff like that on rifles like this can vary. They can be really, really heavy, or they can be surprisingly light. In this case, this one's surprisingly light. So, cool rifle, a fun cartridge available in a number of different firearms. And again, firearms that are affordably priced. Let's take a look at some other rifles we brought out this afternoon. Guys, please swing by and check out Big Daddy Unlimited, BDU. They help support us here at the Military Arms Channel with products and things like that so we can continue to bring you content. There's a link in the video description down below that'll take you to the Mac blog and website. Please follow that link, and from there you'll find a link to Big Daddy Unlimited, and try them out just for 99 cents. You can see what they're all about. In essence, they're just like a big online store that has amazing prices. So please, again, check out BDU. This is a 7.7 Jap Arisaka, and if you watch the channel, you'll know this is one of my favorite bolt-action rifles of World War II. We were just doing some traveling, me and Jason, and we went to Bud's gun shop on our way down to Savannah, Georgia to the epic shoot for Big Daddy Unlimited. And once again, we saw a rifle like this hanging on the wall for sale. As a matter of fact, at Copper Custom, last time I was in there, we had a Arisaka 7.7 for sale there. So you can still find these rifles available. You can certainly find them on places like Gunbroker, and how much you're going to pay for them will vary. You can get some of the last ditch rifles, which we've done videos on, showing that they're absolutely safe to shoot. Do not shoot the training rifle. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. Don't buy and don't shoot the training rifles, because they will accept a live round, and that's where they get the reputation of blowing up and hurting people. But the actual Arisaka rifles in 6.5 and 7.7 are extremely robust rifles, extremely well built, and they can still be had for a decent price. Now, this one is more collectible because it has the original sling. It has a silk cloth on it. You've seen the rifle here before on the channel. It has its anti-aircraft sights, Back here, it has an unmolested mum, has its dust cover, has its monopod, cleaning rod, everything. This is a complete rifle, and this is a collector's item. But you can pick these rifles up, again, with a ground down mum and just okay, with no sling. The wood's still serviceable, with usually pretty good bores in them. I see a lot of Arisakas, and I don't generally see them with really bad bores. So the rifles generally were well kept. And so if you want to shoot these, there's companies like Stanel out there that produce ammunition. And what's really interesting is a box of this ammo, I believe, I have to take a look at the website, it's right around 21 bucks a box. So the price on this has remained stable. That's what the price on this ammunition was before the panic buying of 2020. The price hasn't gone up at all, and it still is in stock over at the Stanel Ammo website. So you can pick these rifles up, still find ammunition. The price has not gone wild on these, and go out and shoot them. You can pick up 40 rounds of ammo, shoot a whole afternoon, and enjoy a piece of history like this Arisaka. So let's go ahead and load this beautiful rifle up. And again, much of the stuff you're going to see featured today will you'll just be able to find if you go over to gunbroker.com and do a search, because surplus rifles, while they're going up in value, aren't skyrocketing like people are paying stupid prices for certain flavors of AR-15s and things like that. So we have 5 rounds loaded up. And I do buy this ammunition, but I love this company. They make extremely high quality ammunition for surplus rifles like this, and you want to make sure you're buying from a quality, reputable manufacturer, because the last thing you want to do is blow up a rifle like this. But technically, this is probably one of the most difficult rifles to blow up. Some testing was done after World War II, and try as they might, the people testing these rifles could not get the Arisakas to blow up. All right, so you got a target down at 100 yards. We have a rear peep on the aperture of these rifles, and a nice sharp triangle front post. And the recoil is really fairly mild for these, despite the fact they have a metal butt plate. Now, if you get the last ditch rifles, you're not going to have metal back here. You'll have a wooden butt plate, but still the recoil on these is pretty much minimal. It's a very pleasant rifle to shoot. You can see that monopod working its way down. I mean, these were probably one of the most gimmicky rifles of World War II, with its anti-aircraft sights and monopod, things like that. The dust cover, a lot of features that were kind of hokey, which truly makes it Japanese, especially of that era. Many of their firearms were just awkward, to say the least. Let's take another look, or let's take a look at something else that we brought out this afternoon. That's a surplus rifle. There's still ammunition available for it, and it's a lot of fun to shoot. This is the French MAS rifle. It's a model 4956, and this rifle would have been the last in the series of rifles that the French started working on in the 1938-ish era, just before World War II. Once the war started, production stopped on these rifles, and then after the war, the French resumed development of the firearm, and this would have been the last of the firearms developed in the line of the MAS 38, 39, 40, 44, 49, and then the 4956, and I probably missed a few ABCs in there in terms of variations of the rifle. But this rifle is truly unique, and we'll do a video dedicated to this rifle here soon. I've promised that in the past when I've talked about French military service rifles. But this rifle is a direct gas impingement rifle. It's a true direct gas impingement rifle. So it taps gas off, the gas comes back, and the gas pushes on the face of the bolt carrier. Unlike the M16, where it diverts gas into a piston that's in a chamber in the bolt carrier, which then expands. This is not an internal piston design. This is a true direct gas impingement, and we'll show you that when we lock the bolt to the rear. The rifles, this was the final evolution of the rifle based on wars that the French were involved in Algeria, Indochina, places like that. So they basically took a longer rifle, the earlier version, shortened it down, added the capability of firing NATO grenades, which has its grenade launching feature out here, and then on the barrel, which you would have seen in previous French military rifle designs, but you can select the range for the rifle grenade here on the barrel, with the range being marked on the barrel. And yeah, it was actually really, really cool. So the French, when they developed this rifle, they were looking for multiple roles. So the grenadier role was something that the French really, really focused on. After World War II, they basically wanted rifle grenades everywhere. They wanted everybody launching rifle grenades, anti-armor grenades, anti-personnel grenades, so forth and so on. And the model that I have here has a cut on the left-hand side of the receiver that allows it to accept the APX sight that's on here, which is a 3.85, I believe, magnification sight. It has a very European style sight with a coarse post, like an obelisk post in the center, with 2 hash marks coming in from either side, and it would have been issued with the rifles. So this would make this rifle a DMR. So you have a basic infantry rifle, you have a grenadier capable rifle, and then you have a designated marksman's capable rifle. And all the rifles that were issued to French troops that were of this type had all these accessories available to them. So it's really an interesting rifle. It fires from a 10-round magazine that has an external clip on the side that clips onto the receiver externally. Kind of a very simple solution. Now, these rifles are known to be extremely reliable and extremely robust. It served the French military for over 30 years, and they just gained a reputation for good accuracy, extremely reliable in adverse conditions. Now, this rifle was picked up several months ago from Classic Firearms. I bought this rifle from them. This one has been refurbished by James River Armory. The barrel on these, they're currently available. I checked their website before coming out to film. These rifles are still available. They're in the $900 price range, so they're not inexpensive, but the 7.5 French that they shoot is still readily available, and the price on it really hasn't gone up yet again, just like the Arisaka ammunition. That price on the 7.5 French has remained steady. To charge the weapon, you just grab the bolt carrier and release it. And again, it's a 10-round mag. I only have 8 rounds loaded, I think. And I'm gonna do some shooting with the APX optic on here, then I'll take it off and show you what the rifle looks like without it. It's kind of, it's got the eye cup on it, kind of like the Soviet style. Jason agrees with me. This is probably one of the coolest Cold War era rifles, an extremely smooth shooting rifle. It's just extremely robust. It's just a true pleasure to shoot. Now, to take the scope off, you have a throw lever, very similar to what you would see the Russians using. You just take this throw lever, and it fits on there tight, really tight. That lever throws to the rear, and then it slides off. And you can see the cut in the receiver that the scope attaches to. Then you have your rear sight. This one has the ability to have the aperture in the rear adjusted with a tool for left-right for windage. And then you have elevation out to ridiculous ranges built into the rear aperture. You have the front post, which is adjustable for elevation. And this was kind of a new thing for the French. In earlier rifles that the French would use, they would have the rifle sighted in from the factory by an armorer, and then it would just be issued, and the troops weren't to mess with the sights. That's not the case with this particular rifle. Here you can see that direct gas impingement gas tube coming out. There's a hole right there, and that gas just literally hits the face of the bolt carrier right there where that cup is and pushes it directly back. It directly impinges on the bolt carrier, again making for a true direct gas impingement rifle. Very cool piece of history. You can find them on Gunbroker, but right now you can pick up one of these refurbished rifles from Classic Firearms. The bores on some of them may be a little bit frosty. This one is not. It's not in very good shape. You can still see the lands and grooves, and it's still just put down a group like that using commercial ammunition, PPU, at 100 yards. So it's more than accurate enough to have some fun with and enjoy shooting the 7.5 French ammunition, which, like I said, is currently available and the prices are still steady. This is a 1903 A3 Springfield. You can find earlier variations of this rifle, just the 1903 Springfield, that would have the rear sight forward here on the barrel versus being back here and adjustable on the receiver. This is the later version of the rifle that would have been used like in World War II by the Marines before they gave them up for the M1 Garands. But these rifles were commonly used during World War I, and the rifles, you can find them out there in places like Gunbroker fairly easily. You can find sporterized ones, you can find some that are in kind of rough shape but still quite shootable for a more affordable price, or you can find rifles like this. I bought this one, I want to say, 3 or 4 years ago from J&G Sales. I was digging around in the back corners of their website and I found a listing of all sorts of Milsurp rifles, just one-offs, and they had a couple of 1903 Springfields listed there, and I picked up one and it was such good condition, this one, that I picked up another one that was slightly less money, and it too was in surprisingly good condition. So you can find these rifles out there if you shop around, and you can still get them for a fairly reasonable price. Now I know what you guys are going to say. Well, 30-06 is hard to find right now, and when you can find it, people are charging $2 a round, and that's true. People are gouging 30-06, just like the R308, 5.56, 9mm, and all the other popular calibers. Now I'm about to break the Stenel website when I say this, but Stenel Ammo has 30-06 ammunition, 20 rounds. It's designed to operate the M1 Garand. It's a 150 grain ball round, and it's like $22 a box. So you're right at $1 a round. So it's not insanely expensive to shoot. Like I said, I don't know if they're going to be able to keep up with the demand for the ammunition after I post this video, but if you're watching this video, get over there and pick some 30-06 up at a reasonable price, because it's there, it's in stock, and it's extremely high quality ammo. The 1903 Springfield is one of the coolest Mauser actions. Now the Arisaka I showed you earlier is basically a Mauser as well, and this is the US version of the Mauser. We started using these before the Great War, World War I, and yeah, then we basically told Germany to go pound sand, and we went to war with them and used their Mausers against them. I guess I have 5 rounds in there already, so I'll dump this one out because I can't count. All right, so I have the magazine shut off. I'm going to turn the magazine on so the bolt will come all the way to the rear. It's one of the features. I might as well talk about it since I just got caught up with it. But you can single load these rifles, and you can load them from the magazine. And you have a magazine cutoff switch here, and it's marked pretty boldly off. So right now the magazine is in the off position. So let me show you what that does. I'm going to fire the 1 round I have chambered here. And then when I run the bolt, notice it's not picking up a round out of the magazine. It's intended for the user to single feed and continue to do that until they're given the order to feed from the magazine, which would be for more rapid fire. And when you're given the order to go to magazine feed, you just flip that lever up, and now the gun will feed from its magazine. And when that magazine is in the on position, the bolt locks open, letting the shooter know that the weapon is empty. Again, a great piece of military surplus, and you can find them out there. You can still find M1 Garands out there, and until this video goes live, you can find affordable 30-06 to shoot out of them. Believe it or not, 7.62x39 is still readily available. Now the prices on the ammunition have gone up. It used to be we could buy a case of 1,000 for $189 for Golden Tiger, and now that same case of ammo is going for $359 and maybe a little bit more in some places. But the point is, the ammunition is still relatively affordable and really available. I've not seen the stocks of 7.62x39 get decimated like I have other calibers. So while the price has gone up, it's still fairly affordable to shoot as compared to other calibers out there, and again, it's readily available. And we're talking about surplus rifles, so I thought I'd bring out an SKS. This is a Russian Tula SKS. And you can find these rifles online on places, again, like Gun Broker and stuff like that. You can still find Norinco rifles, Chinese-made rifles. You can find, there's a whole bunch of different countries that made SKSs, and they're all still fairly readily available on places, again, like Gun Broker. And the prices on them will vary depending on how rare the SKS is and how desirable it is. But you can walk into many gun shops, which I do. Jason laughs at me because I'll walk into a gun store in some, off-the-map place, and they'll have an SKS sitting there on the rack. It's an original Chinese rifle, and they'll have it for like $299. I'll snatch that sucker up and give it a good home, because that's a really good price for an SKS. Now, AKs are still readily available. I was able to get my hands on a PSA 103 recently with a fixed stock, not the folding, which we'll be doing a video on here shortly. But even AKs are fairly readily available. Over at Copper Custom, we have AKs lining the walls. They're still fairly relatively common. The prices on a good quality AK, you're looking at anywhere between $800 to $1,000 for a good quality AK. But again, the ammunition is all over the place. The SKS is one of those rifles that I have fond memories of as a kid, because this was considered a prepper's rifle when I was younger. These things could be had for like $79, and preppers or survivalists or whatever you want to call them would buy these things literally by the case, wooden case, and tuck them away for a rainy day. Now the prices have gone up, and they are no longer imported. Generally, every once in a while you'll see some old war-torn Chinese SKSs show up on the surplus market, but those days are for the most part gone. But still a very fun rifle to shoot. Smooth shooting, accurate, plenty accurate enough to hunt deer with or anything like that, and certainly accurate enough to have a lot of fun with out on a shooting afternoon, like for us Sundays are our shooting days for our family. So rifles like this come out of the closet and get shot in times like these when ammunition is getting harder and harder to find. One thing in common with all the rifles we've shown you this afternoon, and milsurps in general, is that they're relatively limited in capacity. This rifle and the SKS hold 10 rounds. Other rifles we've brought out here this afternoon, like the 1903, hold 5 rounds. And so why do I bring that up? It's a selling point when times like these come about, because you're going to shoot the rifles slower, you're going to have to stop and reload more frequently, and you're going to enjoy each round a little bit more. When times are good for gun owners and ammunition prices are really low, you'll go out with 60-round drums and just do mag dumps because it's fun and affordable. In times like these, ammunition's way too expensive to do magazine dumps, and so you want to slow the cadence down and enjoy each shot. And each of the rifles that we've shown you this afternoon easily fall into that category of fun rifles to shoot that will give you no more than 10 rounds before you have to stop and reload and kind of enjoy the afternoon and the shooting experience. Guys, if you'd like to support us here at the Military Arms Channel, we are supported by you, our viewing audience, and you can do that by becoming a Patreon supporter. We have special perks, behind-the-scenes information, articles that I write, plus we release videos early to our Patreon so they can see them long before the rest of the shooting public, or viewing public, I should say, and shooting public get to see them. Also, please swing by and check out coppercustom.com. And guys, thank you for 12 years of support. It means a lot to us here at the Military Arms Channel. Soon it's going to be 2021, and it'll be 13 years that we've been doing this, and we've enjoyed every single year. And again, we want to thank you for all of those years. Hopefully, we have many more to come. All right, guys, I'm going to finish off with my favorite rifle out here this afternoon, the MAS. Notice I've taken the APX scope off of it, and I'll just be shooting some iron sights now. We'll talk to you guys soon.